Good evening, one and all. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030, Viksit Bharat at 2047. As part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our session, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, is commemorated as World Day for International Justice and various other commemorations. Today, on July 17th, we are commemorating and celebrating World Day for Justice, for International Justice. The day of many names, World Day for International Justice, Day of International Criminal Justice or International Justice, is held each year on July 17th as part of an effort to recognize the system of internal justice. These celebrations highlight how international justice tribunals and courts have brought and continue to bring justice for victims of war crimes and crimes against humanity. It also commemorates the day the Rome Statute was adopted globally and ensure member nations of the International Criminal Court live up to their expectations. Over the centuries, the world has seen new boundaries, new frontiers, and new challenges. Alliances were made and broken. Wars broke out. People committed unspeakable acts against fellow men, women, and children. The world felt the need for international justice. Out of this need arose the Nuremberg trials, which may regard as a milestone in establishing a permanent international court. A series of 13 trials were carried out in Nuremberg, Germany, after the Second World War to bring Nazi war criminals to justice. The defendants, among them Nazi party officials and high-ranking military officers, German industrialists, lawyers, and doctors, were indicated on charges of crimes against peace and crimes against humanity. One of the first times anyone had been prosecuted for crimes against humanity, the Nuremberg trials were controversial at that time. Another landmark trial around the same time, known as Tokyo Trial or Tokyo War Crimes Tribunal, and formally as the International Military Tribunal for the Far East, tried and convicted leaders of the Empire of Japan for joint conspiracy to start and wage war, conventional war crimes, and crimes against humanity. A treaty to prosecute those accused of serious crimes internationally was proposed before a diplomatic conference in Rome, Italy on July 17, 1998, in front of the United Nations, adopted as a Rome Statute by 120 states. This treaty led to the establishment of International Crime Court, International Criminal Court (ICC) in 2002. The ICC is a permanent court that can investigate and prosecute people suspected of committing genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and since 2018, the crime of aggression in situations where national authorities are unable or unwilling to act genuinely. The ICC cannot, however, replace national courts. At a review conference of the Rome Statute held in Kampala, Uganda in 2010, the Assembly of State Parties decided to celebrate the day. They adopted the treaty on June 17th as the World Day for International Justice. So the victorious Allied governments established an international military tribunal in Nuremberg, Germany to bring justice to perpetrators of World War II. Major Nazi war criminals are indicted in between 1945 to 1949. An international military tribunal for the Far East, in short known as IMTFE, is created in Tokyo, Japan to punish major war criminals in the Far East on April 29, 1946. 120 states adopt the treaty known as the Rome Statute, thus informally establishing the International Court on July 17, 1990. The Rome Statute is ratified and 60 countries ratified the Rome Statute, making the International Criminal Court official on July 1, 2002. The Assembly of State Parties decided to celebrate the day the Rome Statute was adopted as the World Day for International Justice on June 1, 2010. The ICC's first conviction and sentencing, Congol's criminal warlord Thomas Lubanga Delo is the first person to be convicted and sentenced by the ICC. He is sentenced to 14 years in prison on July 10, 2012. So some of the crimes against humanity entail extermination, murder, enslavement, torture, unfair imprisonment, rape, forced abortions, and other sexual violence, persecution on political, religious, racial, and gender grounds, the forcible transfer of populations, the enforced disappearance of persons, and the inhuman act of knowingly causing prolonged starvation. International justice means ensuring accountability for some of the most serious crimes, genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, torture, and enforced disappearances. The ICC is not part of the UN. The court was established by the Rome Statute. This treaty was negotiated within the UN. However, it created an independent judiciary body distinct from the UN. The Rome Statute was the outcome of a long process of consideration of the question of international criminal law within the UN. So lives everywhere have been touched by the wars in the history, and some face injustice even today. Learn whatever you can about the victims and those fighting for justice. Show your solidarity by acknowledging their fight and doing what you can do to support them in their cause. You can even write an article or blog to highlight these people and their efforts. Member countries organize events in support of the World Day for International Justice and also to support the International Criminal Court. Some of these are also broadcast online on television or even on the radio. You can visit various websites to find out how to attend. So one of the goals of this day is to bring together all those who fight against injustice and those who promote victims' rights, research non-governmental organizations working for justice-related causes like preventing violence against women, protecting human rights, etc., and consider donating or volunteering your talents. The ICC acknowledges 6 languages as its official languages: English, French, Arabic, Chinese, Russian, and Spanish, being multilingual. The ICC headquarters is situated in the Netherlands at the Hague Global Headquarters. Since its establishment, 139 countries have signed the country's treaty and nearly 80 states have ratified it, and many countries support the ICC. Since its inception, the ICC has completed 200 trials for unspeakable crimes. The ICC website states that 35 arrest warrants have been issued so far, and 17 people have been detained by the court for their crimes. So this day promotes justice, how we can have anything but a wholehearted love for the day that supports justice. Multiple communities, countries, and organizations come together to provide redressal for grievance crimes and in the process provide some measure of closure for the victims of those crimes. It pays homage to the justice system. The International Criminal Court has done much for preserving international justice, and we are all for doing anything we can support this system. This day gives us a chance to acknowledge the crimes and do our bit to pay our respect to the court system and addresses, thus helps to deter humanity's worst crimes. It acknowledges the worth of every human. People should never have to fear for the safety or have the lives of dignity to be threatened if such unfortunate instances do occur. It is heartening to know that an international court can advocate for fair litigation. This day reminds us that there are more and more people fighting for justice and safety each day. It is also commemorated as World Emoji Day on July 17th. Communication in the internet age now goes far beyond pressing send on a simple text message. Check your social media feeds or text messages. How many smiley faces, flying hearts, avocados, and unicorns do you see? Or these iconic little Japanese images known as emoji are more popular on the internet today than ever before. So naturally, they have their own special day. Recognized on July 17th, World Emoji Day is a day that validates our obsession over these ubiquitous graphic icons, while sometimes they may seem silly. According to various psychologists and researchers, they may play a vital role in the way we communicate today. In fact, Oxford's dictionary word of the year for 2015 was emoji. Light up your friends. Phones with all emojis you want today is a healthy option. Challenge your emoji knowledge by having an emoji-filled message stream with your best friend. See how well you can understand each other using only these delightful icons. Who knew you could have a whole conversation without any words? You can turn your favorite photos into shareable emojis using various apps and online tools. You can finally turn on your favorite photo of your dog or cat into emoji. Since we already know, you can send too many pictures of them anyway. Create your own customized emoji-filled t-shirt or purchase one through a vendor online. Check out Amazon for some ideas if you can afford, or your favorite emoji can become the new favorite t-shirt and become the trend. Language comes in many forms, and one of the most ancient types of language is visual symbols. Emojis are unique in that they are visual symbols that help enhance our writing language. They can replace words or whole phrases and still can be understood. Emojis was originally created by the way to symbolize emotions with pictures. Similar to punctuation, they express emotion through irony or humor and even suggest tone or voice of body language in text-based communications. They trigger emotional responses in people, which can cause to be more empathetic. Basically, as we become better in identifying our emotions, we also become better at sensing other emotions. Looks like emotional empathy is trending. Emojis help us better understand something visually when things can get lost in translation. through words in the internet age. They help us communicate better and faster. And let's admit it, they are cute and kind of addictive to use, but they serve a much greater purpose. They improve our capacity to communicate effectively with others, make our intended meaning be known. When in doubt, emoji it out. Today is also commemorated as Constitution Day in Korea, South Korea. Constitution Day or Jeonjeon is observed annually on July 17th in South Korea, and it's to commemorate the creation of Constitution of the Republic of Korea. Constitution Day was declared a national holiday in 1949, but since 2008, it has no longer been a non-working day. Despite that, Constitution Day is still a national celebration day. There is a commemorative ceremony held at the National Assembly building. Citizens hang national flags, even like marathons are often held to commemorate South Korean Constitution Day. Constitution Day or Jeonjeon on July 17th was first declared a South Korean national holiday on October 1st, 1949. Since 2008, South Korean Constitution Day has no longer been a working day due to restructured law regarding working hours. Despite that, on Constitution Day, commemorative ceremony is held at the National Assembly building, Seoul, and attended by the President, Chairman of the National Assembly, Chief Justice of Supreme Court, and Constituent Assembly members besides citizens sang national flags and marathons. College student debates or events related to lawmaking at elementary and middle schools are held. The Korean Peninsula was under the control of Japan from August 22, 1910, under the surrender of Japan on September 2nd, 1945. When the USSR occupied the northern half of the peninsula, while the southern half was under occupation of the US, in 1948, Southern Korea held its first democratic elections for National Assembly members, and elected members created a national constitution. The constitution was ratified on July 12, 1948, and the president, Syngman Rhee, proclaimed the Constitution of the Republic of Korea on July 17, 1948. So the first Republic of Korea was established on August 15, 1948, with Syngman Rhee as its first president. On September 9, 1948, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, North Korea, was founded by the Kim Il-sung, but the Republic of Korea was officially recognized as the sole legal government of Korea of the United Nations General Assembly and UNGA under the Resolution 195 on December 12, 1940. Despite being the same people on the same peninsula, South Korea and North Korea are two different countries. There is also commemorated as National Lottery Day on July 17th in the US. Here's Midsummer Night's Daydream. Whoever won a single thing, never won a single thing in your entire life, decided to take a wild leap and play the lottery. There's something about free money that seems rather appealing, but you scratch the card, cross your fingers, avoid the 13th floor, and generally hope for the best. So it happens you win big dollars and spend rest of the month searching for the perfect beach house and coin. So well, maybe, but one thing for sure, you have to play to win. And National Lottery Day is a chance for everyone to try their luck and get involved, but don't be addicted to it. The luck be your lady tonight or today, as the case is on the National Lottery Day on July 7th. The concept of lottery has been around since ancient times. The practice became mainstream in the late 15th century in Europe. Drawing lots to nominate a winner swept across Europe to the United States in 1612, when a lottery was established by King James I to fund the first permanent British settlement in Virginia, North America. From then on, lotteries were used by private and public bodies to raise money for wars, towns, colleges, and community projects. In the early American history of the lottery, George Washington hosted one in 1760s to finance the building of the Mountain Road in Virginia. John Hancock ran a lottery to rebuild Penhue Hall in Boston in 1765, and the cannons used during the American Revolution from 1775 to 1783 were paid for by the support of lotteries. Lotteries just seemed too good to be true as concerns rose regarding their harmful impact on the public. A constitutional prohibition was issued against lotteries, with New York being the first state where it was implemented. After the Civil War ended, reconstruction in the southern states was dependent on lotteries. The Louisiana lottery especially became popular. It was abolished in 1894 after Congress banned the transport of lottery materials across the state lines. Soon after, the public discovered that the lottery was being run by a crime syndicate that committed fraud and bribed legislatures. It was a massive scandal that was widely publicized. Lotteries gained a bad reputation and were completely outrun by the end of the 19th century. The negativity surrounding gambling started softening at the turn of 20th century. Gambling was legalized in casinos in the states of Nevada in the 1930s, and gambling for charity also became common. Today is also commemorated as National Peach Ice Cream Day in US on July 17. All you have to do is prepare yourself to devour some of the best peach ice cream or brands in the town. The day is celebrated every year to honor and cherish the creation of delicious peach flavored ice cream that stole the hearts of many. It's sweet, tangy, it's cold, and it is everything you need in this hot weather. Ice cream has become a dessert that has its own fan base from times of happiness to times of sadness. Ice creams of different flavors play a great role in uplifting the mood. While new ice cream brands and flavors are launched every now and then, the ice cream itself has existed for centuries. The creation of a dish similar to the ice cream we have today can be traced back to the 4th century BC. In the West, since there were no freezers during that time, there was no other way of crossing ice than to get ice from the mountains. Today is also commemorated as National Tattoo Day in US on July 17. Tattooing is the art of inserting pigment under the dermis layer of the skin to create a decorative, symbolic, or pictorial design. And on National Tattoo Day, July 17th, we set time aside to learn more about tattooing process and its societal importance and history. If you don't have a tattoo, you are likely to know someone who does, and if you have asked them how new at the time when they were getting inked, whether they would still want the design on their skin years or decades later, or you may have just gotten a peculiar look instead of explanation. There is certainly a fraternal connection between the people who wear tattoos, a connection that those without it can never really understand. We asked one correspondent to try to address this phenomenon, and he said tattoos began as a ceremony and they are still kind of like that. Once you are under an artist's needle, it's like a religious experience. It's like aha moment. People talk about having it in business life. It illuminates something you didn't see before. Today is also commemorated as Wrong Way Corrigan Day in US on July 17. This day marks the transatlantic flight of stunt pilot Douglas Corrigan, who flew his plane on an unauthorized flight from New York to Ireland. He famously claimed he went the wrong way, hence his nickname, Wrong Way Corrigan. Douglas Corrigan, real name Slide Gross Corrigan, was born to a construction engineer and a teacher who divorced early on. The family settled in Los Angeles, and Corrigan would later quit high school to work in construction. His love affair with planes began early in the 20th century. In 1925, he saw people paying money to be taken on short sightseeing rides in a Curtiss JN-4 Jenny biplane in a field close to his home. Of course, the then 18-year-old had to go up too. He paid the $2.50 fee for his ride and spent 10 minutes up in the air. A week later, he was taking flying lessons, spending his other free time watching and learning from local aircraft mechanics. Within a short time, and while in 1926, he began making solo flights too. Today is also commemorated as Yellow Pig Day in US. Although this might sound like a pork appreciation day, it's actually a day to enjoy wonders of mathematics, and particularly the special properties of the number 70. When you are a math rookie or a world-leading professor, you all have mind-boggling facts and history of Yellow Pig Day right here, along with some super smart suggestions to how to make it great. So in the 1960s, students Michael Spivak and David Kelly were studying math at Princeton. Together, they spent a lot of time considering the qualities of the number 70, and he became obsessed with its incredible combination of simplicity and complexity that was recurrent in the mathematics they were using and developing. Their obsession grew into a desire to celebrate the number 17 with their own special day, and they created a mascot for their event in the form of a yellow pig. But they morphed their pig into beast with 17 teeth, 17 toes, 17 everything to encapsulate their passion for the number 7. From its small beginnings, Yellow Pig Day has become a huge hit in the academic calendar, with students and teachers alike coming together to celebrate this special number, as well as math in general. Classes sing Yellow Pig carols, share cake, and play games based on the number 17. Some people even create origami yellow pigs and yellow pig t-shirts to wear with pride. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for being part of today's commemorations. So we request everyone to quickly fill the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of polls, and see you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining link to different commemorations. There is also an important announcement for everyone that from August 1st to 7th, we are commemorating Breastfeeding Week every year as usual. So we have an international conference as part of Breastfeeding Week, and we are also offering honors like we did last time on Doctor's Day to all the doctors, all the mothers who have donated breast milk to the Human Milk Bank, and all the lactation consultants, and whoever is working in the breastfeeding promotion. So any NGOs or any organizations or any individuals, professionals who are working for the promotion of breastfeeding, they can send their details along with a detailed resume, a photograph, a detailed resume along with your experience, so that we can arrange for the honors. And those who are willing to make presentations can come forward and make your presentations on the day. So for further details, you can visit website and check the details from the website. So see you all tomorrow at the same time. Take care. Good night.